Okay. Well, better than it was. Better than it was. Okay. So, good morning, everybody. If you are watching the replay, welcome. If you join me live, welcome. My name is Sue Sanders, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, one of thousands. And so it's a very tough competitive market out there. Um, so today we're going to do a coffee chat and a card. I try to do this at least twice a month on Friday mornings. Um, and I know that several of my viewers had prior obligations this morning. So hopefully they'll come back and they'll watch it on the replay. So we're going to just kind of start out. And I love talking to myself on the camera. If you've never done live videos, then you have no idea what I'm talking about. But the sketch I've got today is really easy, and it's a sketch that you could use for numerous types of cards. Let's chat about our little catalog that most everybody should have received by now. If you haven't received your catalog, then please contact me. You can email me at susieqsstamping@gmail.com, and I will be happy to send you one. This is a brand new catalog that just came out September 3rd. It has lots of great products in it. The Peaceful Days, it's a suite of products. The papers are beautiful. This is a scrapbooking um, bundle that you can get. The little fluffy squirrels.
I want to get the fluffy squirrels. I think those are cute.
The branching out bundle, that's kind of a different and unique set of stamps and dies. I love the labels on that one. The words for the season, that's a nice stamp set. It's got some great inside greetings for you. The Snowy Delights, I love this suite of products. I've got this. We've got the Snowy Delight stamp set, the masks, and then the die cuts. And I've played with it a little bit, but not totally. The gingerbread bundle, I love him. I love the oh snap. That's a saying that Dorothy used a lot several years ago. And then we have some more Christmas. So today we're going to be using some online product. We're going to be using 3 different stamp sets. Well, I'm going to use 2 stamp sets for the card that we're going to make. And then I used another one for one of my example cards for you. So today we're going to be using the Sweet Jar bundle with the punch, as well as the Not 29 Anymore. I love these funny birthday greetings. I myself am getting up there in the 60s. So yes, I know I'm in the 60s right now. So I think it's kind of funny because a lot of my friends are older and they do have their sense of humor. They may have lost their hearing and their eyesight. Hi, Anna. How are you this morning? I'm glad that you were able to join us. These are the 2 stamp sets that I'm going to use today to make our sketch card. And then I have another example to show you. And I use the Jar of Joy. So these are the online products. Okay, so let's get started with our sketch. It's a simple sketch, but it sure does lend itself to making so many different kinds of cards with it. You, of course, are going to use a regular card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to flip this over so that I can see my layers. Layer 1, which is our pink layer, it measures 4 1/4 by 3 3/4. You have 2 strips of paper, and they measure 1 inch by 4 3/4. You have another layer and it measures 3 by 3. And then your third layer is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. You do need to have like a small label punch or die, or you can just cut it out with a narrow strip of paper. So let's put this together and you'll see how it all comes together here. I'm just going to use my seal. You're going to take your first layer and get it rolling again. Place it down in the center of your card front, your card base. Get it as centered as you can. Then you're going to take your 2 strips of paper and you're going to lay those down with one being a little bit lower and the other one being a little bit higher. Okay, I don't have that one quite even in the center. So let's fix that. Well, it is cooling off here in Missouri. We're supposed to get some more warmer temperatures next week, which will be great because I will be outside at the annual Bike Fest next Friday and at an air show next Saturday. So I'm glad that it is cooling down, but I'm glad that for the next couple of weeks while I have outside things to do, it will be warm. Then you're going to take your is it the 3 by 3 square and put it down in the middle. And this piece here that is the 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, I've done it in white, but you can do it in a colored cardstock or in a DSP, and I'll show you how I've used this sketch to make another card. You can use this as your focal point. You can stamp right on it, or you can die cut something as your focal point and place it down on there, and I'll show you how to do that. Yes, Anna, I am very busy. September seems that it's just like lots of stuff is going on in a 2-week period. I have a lot to do with Blue Star Mothers. Tomorrow we're going to cook for it's a home for veterans families that they can stay there free of charge while their loved one is in the Veterans Hospital in Columbia. So we're going up there in the morning and we're going to make some crafts, not cards, but other crafts. And then we're going to cook lunch and have it there so that the people that are visiting the Fisher House and visiting their loved ones have something to eat. So this is our sketch card. Very simple and very easy. So let's get to our put together one. And as I said, I'm using the jar set, the sweet jar. And so these are my pieces. This is for my inside. And then I have my card base, which is Timid Tiger. I have my cloud cover is my large layer. I have 2 pieces of the designer series paper. That's the in color designs. Then I have a piece of the Secret Sea and another piece of that designer series paper in the cloud cover. And then I have my piece that I'm going to stamp on. All right, so let's go ahead and put all of the pieces down that we can before, and you could very easily run these layers through an embossing folder. I just opted not to today. I just wanted to kind of do it a simple format for us to show you that it doesn't have to be real trick, but it does pack that wow factor. And I think anytime that you do a combination of designer series paper along with cardstock, it gives you a really nice effect on your cards. So here's that designer series paper that I've cut into my 1-inch strips. And I love that with the in colors, everything coordinates. You can use all the colors and not worry about it. And I did that again, crooked. So let's fix that. Okay, I'm gonna have to do our huff trick. So if you're new to my channel, if you get something stuck down with your Stampin' Seal, and it's not placed right, and then you haven't like really pressed it, you can do the huff method where you can just kind of peel up a corner and then huff with your hot air, and I have lots of that.
Or hyperventilate, whatever you
Or
feel.
hyperventilate, that's true. Better give this a little burnish here on my card base. Got that a little crooked, but we'll deal with that. Now I'm going to come in with my Secret C. And again, you could emboss this. And we're going to lay that down to where the points just about match up on either side of your card, like so. And this piece here is going to get laid down like this. But before we do that, we're going to take a little bit of some linen thread. And don't ask me how, ladies, but my linen thread got all wonky. So I have to rewind it onto another spool so that I don't have all these knots. All right, so there's that. We're going to set that aside. We're going to go ahead and lay this down and pray that our inside greeting doesn't get messed up. And I've cut this, or I haven't cut this down, because this way I can lay my silicone mat down and get it lined up and then trim off the bottom edge so that it doesn't come up short. Trim that off. So if you're watching the replay, let me know if you have these sets or not, and if you would duplicate this card. All right, so I did take my punch. So this is my jar punch, and I punched out a guide for me that I can use, and I've taped it down onto a small piece of white paper. And I'm going to take my Secret C and my jar, and the jar is just an outline. And I'm going to stamp this, and sorry, ladies, I can't show you because I've got to have this right down in front of me. Let's see if I can do this. I'll stand up and maybe I can, yeah. Okay. I am going to set this stamp then right down inside that guide that I punched. Okay. It is a little off, so that's not going to work. So we're going to wing it. Most of the time I can do that. Today, I guess I can't. So we're going to just stamp this. Okay, and then I'm going to take my lid and I'm going to punch that out after, or I'll stamp on that after I punch this out. But to give me more room, said, we are making this a birthday card. So we are going to make candles in a jar. And I'm going to put one right in the center. Seems like I'm like far, far away today for some reason. All right, and I'm going to start with my first color. I'm going to make it strawberry slush. So I'm just going to take my candle, and it's the single candle. They do have a trio stamp that is 3 candles. And we're going to stamp this into the center like so. I did get it a little off, but that's okay. I get my cleaner out here so that, because I'm changing colors. And then I'm going to take my Darling Duckling, which is our yellow. And I'm going to stamp that one next to it. And then I'm taking my, there it is. Oops, I'm going to do another yellow one. My yellow one here. And then I will just do 2 more in my strawberry slush. Whoops. That laid down there better. Well, it still didn't catch that little corner. There we go. Sometimes these little teeny tiny narrow stamps, and I'm not hitting it, I'm not pressing on it. There we go. All right, so we've got our candles. And I decided so that it wouldn't be, but I'm not using orange, so I can. I'm going to use the Timid Tiger for our flames. And there is a little teeny tiny stamp in there for the flames. And we're going to start with the center one. Work our way to the outer ones. There we go. They do kind of overlap, but that's okay. We are now going to punch out our jar. So a little trick for you. If you have a piece of paper that's not big enough to hold on to, you can use a Post-it note to give you a little bit of help there. So I've got it lined up, and I'm just giving it a light squeeze to see if it's even. It looks about even. I'm going to punch that, and I see that I've punched my little lid out at the same time, and it's got sticky note on it. So we're just going to peel that sticky note back off. I can do this. I know I can. I'm just going to use my take your pick tool. And we're going to peel that off of there, because we can use this. And I'm going to take my Secret Sea. I don't know. I always want to call this Stormy Sky Secret Sea. We're going to ink up that lid. And we are going to very carefully lay this down and stamp that lid. There we go. All right. The other thing that we have to do is run and get a piece of scrap white paper because I didn't bring one over here like I thought I had. And this is for our little tag that we need. This is a piece of scrap paper that I've got. Actually, I'm not so fond of all that white showing with my lid, so we're going to do it again since I've got a piece of scrap. So have you used this set very much then, Anna? I know I haven't played with it very much, but it makes such a cute set. Get rid of this one. And close my ink. Do my lid. So I'm just lining it up in my punch so that there's almost equal amount of white showing. There is our lid. I like that one much better. We'll put that with our jar. All right. Our little greeting, what I have for us today is from the Sweet Jar, and it says party. And I'm going to use the Timid Tiger. Oh, good. I hope you make this card because it's really simple. Okay. So we're going to put party on this scrap piece. And I'm going to take my 1-inch circle punch. Like I said, you can use anything that you want. You've got your options. And I'm going to punch the circle out. And you want to maybe put it down towards the bottom a little bit more than you would it to the center, only because you're going to take one of those little trio punches that we have. And this is the little circle punch. It's the hole punch assortment. And I'm going to stick that in there. Oops. Might need to use my sticky note again. Stick that in there and punch a little hole. That's going to be our little tag. Okay, so we've got all of this completed. Now we want to take and stamp our inside greetings. And I have so many candles. Of course. It's not going to fit across there. So what we're going to do is we are going to
Sure, where that is.
stamp so many candles. Let me see. Here we go. Standing up
Have you
again.
tried his phone?
So many candles.
No, you got Mama's number. Yeah, just a second.
So many.
That's all right.
And then we're going to do candles underneath it.
That's all right. Bye.
So I'm just kind of stamping just to the edge of my so many candles. There we go. Now my happy birthday is going to do, it will just fit. So that's good. I don't have to finagle that. Okay, so it's going to be so many candles. Happy birthday. Okay, now to add a little bit more to this if you want to, and this was an afterthought that I had, we're going to take our single candle and we're going to put a candle down here at the bottom, take our little flame, so you could dress this up however you'd want to. There's our little candle on the inside of our card. Okay, now that's ready to go on the inside. Here is our twine. We're going to wrap it around our I want to go this way. Wrap it around our, I maybe didn't cut myself enough. I think I did. Better cut me another piece because that one is not long enough. I was hoping, here I got a piece, it's good for me. So we're going to wrap this around our little piece of paper. We're going to just put an overhand, just like you're going to be tying something. And I'm going to use my tweezers to hold that in place until I get what I want done to it.
But you want done to it.
Right. See? Okay. And now I'm not going to have enough to tie my bow. So let me get myself some more here. I always like to have enough to tie my bow. I don't like wasting it, but I don't like having not enough to tie my bow. I think the tying of the bow is sometimes the hardest part of these cards. What do you ladies think? Let me know in the comments. Okay. So then I'm going to take my little tag that I have here that says party on it, and I'm going to bring that thread up through from the back side. Okay. Like so. And I don't want it to really, I want it to hang, but it's going to tighten up here on me. So we're going to tie this in a little knot so that this hangs a little bit. Okay. Come on, there we go. So that's kind of hanging there. And now we're going to take and tie our little bow. I use my reverse tweezers all the time. Now I've got this whole spool. I got to cut off some. There we go. Okay. And tiny little bows, they are kind of hard to do. And doing them on camera is a little bit harder. Come on. Cooperate, not pull all the way through. That I can't hardly see today. I don't know why, but that. And you're going to grab those two loops and you're going to give them a good pull. And then you can use your tweezers or your fingers and make those loops even. Okay. However, it's easiest for you to attach your little tag. That's what you want to do. Okay, so there's my little bow. Trim off our little tails a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to put a piece of tape, double-sided tape on the back of this just to hold it in place so that it doesn't keep moving around on me. Okay. I'm going to, once I've got this cut now, because I want to tighten it up, now I can cut it in the back. So I just snipped it in half in the back, and I'm just going to take my tearing tape and tighten up that string on the back side. Could have done that to start with, couldn't I? Sometimes hindsight's 20/20. I don't know. Trim off the excess that we don't have all that. Come on. Okay, so there is that. Kind of even that up a little bit. We're going to set that now. We're going to glue that down to our layer like so. I'm going to take advantage of having that double-sided tape on here. Just using my favorite tool, the Take Your Pick tool. How many of you can't live without this little tool? I know I couldn't. I have 3 of them. And then I'm going to take and use my Stampin' Seal Plus. Now we're ready to put this on here like so. And you're just going to eyeball it to kind of make sure that it's pretty well centered there. We're going to take and glue our lid to our jar. I'm just going to take my glue and my silicone pad, and I'm going to run just a small bead of glue there where I want this to be. There we go. Gonna take my Wink of Stella pen.
Ooh, you're going to use your Wink of Stella?
Yeah. And I'm just gonna kind of go over those flames for my candles to give them a little bit of a shine. You can't see it on camera, but you can see it when you see it in person. Just kind of going over those flames. And I think now I'm just going to take and kind of stripe my candles and do little dots on my yellow ones just to kind of glitz them up a little bit. Like I said, you can't see it on camera, but I can see it, and your recipient is going to be able to see it. Let's color in our jar up here. Give it a little bit of shine, shine.
Shine,
Shine, shine. All right. And to add something to our jar, we're going to take another little piece of twine, and we're going to wrap it around our lid. And we're just going to tie a knot. if I can get it to go through. And again, I'm going to use my reverse tweezers. Pulling it tight. My tweezer shifted on me. And just tying it in a knot. I know it's hard for y'all to see what I'm doing because I'm so blind. I gotta have it in front of me. Oh, come on. This twine sometimes gives me the fits.
I don't like twine. I can never tie it.
There we go. Well, it just takes a little practice. Get that, whoops, let's get this back up where it's supposed to be on our jar lid. There we go. Now we're going to cut off our strings. Huge. Huge. So there's that. This now is going to get popped up onto our square. My dimensionals. I am using my skeletons today. Use up this pack. Put on skeleton on the bottom. One on each side.
Well, this one's never been used.
And another one at the top. Kind of place that over that twine to hold it in place. And then just for good measure, we're going to put a piece in the center so that it doesn't sag. So I hope that you enjoyed this sketch. I have another card to show you that I made up with it. And so here we have, my party could be a little bit more over to the left, but that's okay. And we're going to take and hopefully not make a mess with our Winkostella and just kind of give it some sparkle on that timid tiger. And that's Secret Sea. I think it would be really pretty if you used embossing folders. What do you think, Anna? So there is the card using our sketch today.
Oh, that's pretty.
And then this is our inside. So we'll go ahead and put this in. It's got that orange in it for the fall. I have several birthdays coming up.
Yeah, but you have one that's your favorite.
Yeah, Audrey's.
Ah!
She doesn't have all that many candles, so I can't send this to her. So it might have to be to the other one, Dorothy. Okay, let me get this stuff straightened up so that I'm not trying to show you something with all this stuff sitting around. And we'll clean all this up in a second off camera.
I think tilting the lid gives it character.
Tilting the lid,
Yeah.
it does, but I didn't really have room to
No,
tilt.
not on that one.
Oh, so there is that card. Now let me show you. Look at here. This is using the jar of joy with the little snowman in the jar. Same sketch, 2 different cards, can be used for anything that you'd want it to be. Birthday, whatever. But the sketch is so easy that you could use it for so many different things. So that's what I have for you today. Anna, do you have any questions that you might want to ask? Or any suggestions for me? And if you don't, that's okay. Don't want to put any pressure on you. Our hour is just about up. And like I said, I knew that several of my regulars had prior engagements today, and one is out of town. Oh, you're welcome. I will post pictures of these out on my Facebook page, Anna, in the Coffee Chat and a Card group, so you can have them. Okay. All right. Well, Anna, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you coming in so that I wasn't just talking to myself. That always makes it awkward, I think. So you have a wonderful weekend.
Did you color the Christmas one?
No, actually what I did was the little snowman has the little hat, has a little hat band and the little scarf set. I did stamp it in the Secret Sea on a piece of cloud cover paper. And then I did Versamark for my snowflakes. I don't know if you can, there you can see that. Okay. And then I just kind of colored in the snowman with my Wink of Stella. So it really wasn't hard to color him. I mean, I didn't really do a lot of coloring. I just took the Wink of Stella pen and I dipped it in some pumpkin pie or Timid Tiger ink for his little nose to make it orange. And I don't have the inside of this one done yet. So no, I just did it on that cloud cover to make it kind of look like a blue, a light blue. You could also use the pool party, but since cloud cover was in my paper pack, that's what I chose to use. All right. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, all of my replay warriors. I appreciate you watching. Leave me a comment so that I know you were here. See you guys later. Bye.